Nag-out na ako, Glad, sa ayaw.
Hello, so now we're live now on Facebook, Sir Jeff.
Facebook?
Sorry for that.
Yeah,
You may go
on
your
YouTube.
intro.
Yeah, we're live on YouTube, Gladys. Thank you so much. Good evening and good afternoon and good morning to other parts of the world. So we have another session again. So it's nice to see you again because, you know, we are all working in this time of pandemic because still we need money to send in the Philippines, right? Okay, so yeah, welcome everyone. So we have a OET lecture coming from Elite Intellect 9.0. So let's welcome our host, our speaker, none other than, of course, the mother of dragons from Pixar's DreamWorks Pictures. Let's bring in the dragon. Let's enter the dragon.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Sir Jeff. Actually, that's my dream. That's my dream to become a part of Pixar, mga ganyan, no? DreamWorks. Diba? Kaya Disney talaga, they don't accept me at Disney.
Before ako mag-mute, Sir Clint, I would like to say hi to our viewers here on Zoom, 46 participants, and live. We are live on YouTube right now. So guys, please like and subscribe. Baka naman because, you know, nag-expire ng everything lahat sa atin, free Zoom and also speaking apps. So yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, guys, please do like and subscribe on the YouTube channel of IFNG, no? Just search IELTS Filipino Nurses Group on YouTube. Okay, do like and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell for you to know that we are live at IFNG. Oh, diba? Blogger na blogger. Okay, guys, so let's start with your discussion for tonight. Okay, Ma'am Zea, Sir Jello, could you please share? Ma'am Zea, could you please share the live to the Facebook page of Elite Intellect 9? Okay, I don't know how to do it. Okay, so
Copy,
guys,
sir.
welcome. Thank you so much, Zaya. Welcome to another fun discussion here at IFNG, brought to you by Elite Intellect 9 for tonight. And we are going to be discussing about the occupational English test. Okay, so if you are a nurse and you were trying to find an alternative, okay, with the IELTS examination, then of course the OET is actually a good way to go, given that this is one of the most forgiving examinations there is. Okay, like the TOEFL, like the PT or the Pearson Test of English. Okay, guys, the occupational English test is one of the most forgiving examinations available. Well, my friend said available, no, to the students nowadays. Okay, so happy to be here. Welcome to another OET discussion here. And of course, today I will teach you about the writing structure of the OET when it comes to the speaking flow. And tonight, guys, I'm going to be using Elite Notes, which is a method that we use at Elite Intellect, with which it's like a digital discussion board. You're going to be seeing colorful notes there, and Mama will be writing it for you with my trusty pencil right here. And of course, my invisible dahon ng malunggay. Can you see my malunggay? It's actually quite mythical, you know? Look at that. She invisible. Okay, so if it's your first time to join us, I'm blessed to be here. My name is Clint Joseph Tyler, the founder and president of Elite Intellect IELTS, OET, NCLEX, and NMC CBT Specialist, PH. I am an IELTS expert for 11 years and an OET master for 6 years. I am a Philippines RN and also a US RN, and also known as your mother dragon rare. Okay, so I am half Filipino, half Maria Labo. Do you know who Maria Labo is? Do you know who that is? Do you know who Maria Labo is? If you know who Maria Labo is, child, it's time to get married, okay? If you know who Maria Labo is, it's time to get married. Okay, for those of you who do not know, Maria Labo is one of the urban legends that was circulating when we were younger, okay? During our childhood days, okay, we were always scared by the people that if you roam around at nighttime outside the house, Maria Labo will come and get you. Gusto nyo yun? Half Filipino, half Maria Labo. Okay, so before anything else, guys, let me just share to you the clear message of the Bible for today, okay? Father, if it is not your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. Some people find it quite difficult to grasp this idea. Okay, so for some people, it is actually quite difficult to grasp this idea of entrusting everything to the Lord. One thing that you would need to remember, guys, is on all the things that you do, you always have to seek for the will of the Lord. Not yours, not your will, but his will. Because his will is always the best thing that could ever happen to you. That's one thing that I want you guys to remember for tonight. That's from Luke chapter 22, verse 42. Okay, guys, so let's begin. It's now time for us to experience Elite Notes. Okay, so let me share to you my noting app right here. Okay, now a little bit of pardon. Forgive me if my penmanship is a little bit scary today. Okay, so let's talk about the OET writing structure. One thing that I would want you guys to remember is the OET's task is, of course, to write a letter. Again, your task on the occupational English test is for you to write a letter. Okay. So the letter, guys, is 180 to 200 words. That is the minimum number of words. But then again, I highly recommend my students to write approximately 210 or 220. Okay, so as to ensure that you are writing a proper response and you're not going to go under the prescribed number of words on the examination. Okay, and apart from that, guys, apart from writing 180 to 200 words, what I would want you to remember here is for the letter of the occupational English test, okay, you would need to simplify information. Okay, not all details on the examination or on the case notes, because you'll be given 2 pieces of paper on that day. The first piece of paper that contains your case note. When we say case note, that is the what do you call this? That is the number of information about the case of your client. And you must remember that not all on the case note should be included. Later on, before we go to the structure, I will teach you what are the things that you should be eliminating, highlighting, and of course, what are the things that you should be simplifying on the case notes. Okay, so you would need to simplify information at this part. And apart from that, guys, one thing that I would also want you to remember for the writing examination of the occupational English test is, okay, hold on. I think we have a comment here. Type in your questions, guys. If you have any questions, yes, Mama D cares. Okay. So yeah, you would need to simplify information. And apart from simplification of information, guys, the types of letter that you would need to write for the occupational English test could either be, it could be a letter of endorsement. As registered nurses, we always do have turnovers or endorsements, right? So it could be a letter of endorsement. Okay, after that, it could also be a letter of transfer or letter to transfer. Okay, so you're going to be transferring the client. Okay, you're going to be transferring the patient, okay, into a ward. There you go. Or a specialist. And of course, a letter of recommendation to a specialist or sometimes a social worker. Guys, yes, sometimes you are expected to write to a social worker on the occupational English test. And if you do that, one thing that I could guarantee you is for you to, what do you call this? For you to simplify the terms, okay? Do not use medical jargons because the social worker might not fathom the idea that you're trying to point across on your endorsement. Okay, now, let's take a look at the case notes. As I have mentioned earlier, guys, you should not be writing down all information on the case notes. So, what are the things that you should be doing for the case notes of the occupational English test? Okay, so case notes. Number 1, guys, is I want you to highlight information. Okay, so Sir Joseph, what are what is the information that I would need to highlight? Okay, so highlight information. Okay, so first things first, guys, on the examination, you must highlight chief complaint, the chief complaint of your client, okay? Whether that's pain in the leg, there you go, dizziness, stomach pain, any type of chief complaint of the client, you would need to highlight that because it's important for your reader to know what that is, okay? And of course, the diagnosis of the client, you would need to highlight that too. All right, so whether that is conclusive or inconclusive diagnosis, you would need to highlight that and give information about that to your reader. Apart from that, guys, abnormal values. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Abnormal values. Let's say the cholesterol of your client is way too high. Blood pressure is 170 over 110. Okay, that's above the normal limit. RR, let's say, is the respiration of your client is 64. Naku, Diyos ko, ang taas ng respiration niya, di ba? Tapos ang PR ng client mo, your pulse rate is, let's say, 140. Okay, so any abnormal value that you're going to be noting, let's say the pH level of your client is 7.85. There you go, di ba? 7.85. So pH is, it's alkalotic, right? Okay, so you would need to highlight abnormal values because that is important for your reader to know. Okay, what else? Apart from the abnormal values, guys, also what I would want you to highlight on the examination are the needs of your client. Okay, past and present. Relevant interventions. Okay, when we say relevant interventions, guys, no? When we're talking about relevant interventions, any type of medical or surgical intervention that is related to the case of your client. Okay? Let's say ang problem ng client mo ay, let's say your client is suffering from cardiomegaly. Okay? So, you're going to be looking at the intervention that is related to cardiomegaly, okay? Halimbawa, yung intervention na ginawa sa kanya ay appendectomy. Do you think appendectomy is even related to cardiomegaly? No, tonsillectomy would be closer to that, okay, rather than appendectomy, okay? So, are the things that I always encourage my students to highlight when they are giving information on the case notes. What else, guys? Apart from that, I would want you to eliminate information. Okay, so what are the things that you would need to eliminate? Okay, number one is you would need to eliminate normal values. Okay, if the normal values, guys, are unrelated or not asked, okay, hindi naman tinatanong ng reader mo, then of course you would need to eliminate the normal value because the normal value could actually do harm to your letter than good. Because since they're already normal, then of course you wouldn't need to endorse that anymore because it's already resolved. Right? Let's say the hypertension of your client, nag-normalize na siya, meaning it's a resolved case for our client, so you don't have to, endorse that anymore to your reader. What else? Lab tests with results. With normal results, okay, should be eliminated too on the OET writing. Okay, and apart from the lab tests with normal results, another thing that I would want you guys to remember is you would need to eliminate anything, basically anything that is unrelated to the case of your client. Okay, anything that is unrelated to the case of your client, please eliminate it by all means. Okay, let's say there's a social history. The social history is not related to the case at all, then you must eliminate that. Okay, and of course, we would need to simplify. Okay, so Sir Joseph, what are the things that we would need to simplify on the occupational English test? All right, guys. So first things first is I want you to simplify similar information. Okay, so what you should do here for simplifying similar information is to group them together in one sentence. Okay, you're going to group them together in one sentence. All right. Okay. So if you're going to be looking at that, guys, okay, you would need to simplify. You would need to simplify similar information that you think are falling under the same category. Okay, Sir Joseph, could you give me an example for this one? Here we go. Okay, let's say the client says no vices. Oops. No drug problems. Non-smoker. Does not drink. Okay, so instead of writing that one by one, right? Look at the wrong way to write this down, okay? The wrong way to write this down is the patient has no drug problems, no? So what you're doing is you're itemizing it, okay? No drug problems, non-smoker. Oops, what happened there? Okay, hold on. Okay, non-smoker and does not drink. Okay, look at that. Okay, you are just itemizing the information here. Okay, rather, what you should be doing is for you to write it this way. Okay, the patient has no known vices. Look at that, right? Do not itemize things. When you are simplifying, what you should be doing is for you to simplify it into a sentence like this one. Okay, so instead of saying the patient has no drug problems, non-smoker, does not drink, okay, what you should be doing is to just write down the patient has no known vices. Look at that, okay? A better way for you to simplify your case notes on the examination. Now, let's take a look at the structure of the occupational English test, okay? What is there to expect when it comes to the structuring of the letter? Guys, if you have any questions, okay, please type it so that Mama will be able to answer it for you, okay? All right, let's take a look at the letter structure. Okay, so for the letter structure, guys, what I would want you to remember on this part is for you to always arrange information when presenting a letter. Okay, so you would need to arrange information when you are presenting a letter. Do not, I repeat, do not give your reader a letter that has gone haywire. Okay, because they will not understand what you're trying to mean if you're not arranging the details there is on the letter itself. Okay, and apart from that, guys, one thing that I would want you to remember that separates the occupational English test with the IELTS is the OET has no specific template. Okay, there is no specific template that you may follow. Okay, there is no specific template that you may follow on the occupational English test writing. Unlike the IELTS, right? You have the introduction, body 1, body 2, body 3, conclusion, how to make an introduction, how to make a body 1. Guys, here, it is mainly dependent on your case notes, okay? It will be mainly dependent on your case notes because sometimes case notes has more social background rather than the medical interventions. There you go. Sometimes case notes has less medical interventions and they're more social background. So your social background would actually make the most out of your structure. So let's take a look at the first part of the structure. We call this the addressee part. Okay, so here you're going to be writing down the person that you are writing to. Okay, let's say the person I'm writing to is Dr. Gladys Lacanilao. Okay, so if you're going to be looking at that, guys, this part right here is our addressee, okay? Who is the person that you are about to write to, okay? And then below that is we're going to be writing down her job title, okay? So let's say her job title is, she is an attending physician. There you go. Now, sometimes you're not writing to a doctor, okay? So this is the job title. Okay. Look at that, right? If you're go, ha, napapanood yan, mama ko, naging doctor ako kahapon. O, di ba? Okay. So if you're going to be looking at this one, guys, right? We have Dr. Gladys Lacanilao. She's your addressee, attending physician. That is her job title. Now, the next thing that would follow this one is what we call the address, okay? So guys, you have to remember on the occupational English test, if the address is way too long, okay, if it's way too long, you need to divide it into two. However, if it's just short, pretty short, okay, then just write down one line, okay? Here's an example of a long address. Okay, let's say that is Mother and Child Hospital. All right. Comma, 113, Goodwill. Goodwood Avenue. Sydney, Australia. Okay. So if you're going to be looking at this one, guys, since this is a long address, okay, technically this is a long address, so I have divided it into line 1 and line 2. Look at that, okay? So you have Dr. Gladys Lacanilao, attending physician, Mother and Child Hospital, 113 Goodwill, Goodwood Avenue, Sydney, Australia. Okay, so if you're going to look at that, my OET babies, okay, it is actually quite easy to write this part of the letter. Okay, the complicated parts will come later on. Now, what's next? After that is we're going to be writing down the date. Okay, now let's say today is the 10th of September. (2021). Or you can also use this date format right here. Okay, you have September 10, 2021. Okay, so you can choose between the two date formats. Okay, guys, I know that some of you have been looking on the internet about date formats that the students use on Google. Okay, please try to avoid dates like this one. Okay, avoid writing down dates like this. Okay, let's say 10, 9, 21. There you go. Avoid writing it like that because it's pretty much informal when you're doing so. Okay. Also, do not write down 10, 9, 21. There you go. No, some students even are way too lazy. What they have written on the internet is 10, 9, 21. Oh my gosh, what is that? Right? Do not write dates like that because there's no specifications on that. Which one is the 10? Is that October or September? Right? Is that the day or the date? Is that the day or the month? Right? Okay, so I'd rather you just follow the two formats right here, which is 10th of September 2021 or September 10, 2021. Now, one thing that I would want you guys to remember for the date is this is dependent on the case notes. Okay? This is mainly dependent on the case notes. So one thing that I would want you to remember is to always look at the date today. Okay? Look at the date today. Okay, you would need to look at the date today. Let's say, what is the date today? On the case note, it will be written there. Date today is September 10, 2007. Okay, so if it says there September 10, 2007, then you better be writing down September 10, 2007. So you look at your case notes. Now, if there is no date today, if there is no date today, then the date would be the discharge date. Oops. The date would be the discharge date. Okay, that would be the date that would be written on your case notes. Okay, let's say the discharge date of the client is September 10, 2017. So what you will be writing down on your work is September 10, 2017. There you go, guys. Okay, quite easy. Sir, if it is 10 September 2021, would that be okay? No, Dana, unfortunately, Dana, that is not grammatically correct because basically when you're going to be writing down 10th, 9th, 3rd, for you to be grammatically accepted, you need to add the letters along with the number right there because it would be what they call this grammatically incorrect. You have to remember the OET is still an English test. Okay? All right. So look at the date right there. Okay? So after the date, guys, is what we call the regarding part. Okay? So for the regarding part, you don't have to make it complicated. What I would want you to remember for the regarding part is to write down the name of the person that you are or the patient. Okay, let's say our patient right here is Mazam Inuts. Okay, and let's say she is a married woman. Okay, she is 52 years old. Comma, a married woman. Okay, so look at that, right? If she is your patient right there, then of course you just have to write down the name of the patient, the age of the patient, and of course if she is a married woman. Okay, now what if she's a single gal, Sir Joseph? What should I be writing down? Okay, if she's single, regarding Mazam Inuts. Okay, 23 years old. A single woman. Now, some people on the internet, they tend to write down the diagnosis here on the regarding part. That's not necessary, okay? Because it will be repetitive if you're going to be writing down the diagnosis here and then write down the diagnosis again on the introductory paragraph. So don't do that, okay? All right. So look at that. Mazam Inuts. Yes. She is our patient for today. Okay. What else? What if she is a pediatric client? Okay. Let's say her name is again Mazam Inuts, baby Mazam Inuts. Okay. 12 years old. A pediatric client. There we go. Okay, or you can also write down the next to kin. If the next to kin is available, let's say, the person that is taking care of them in the hospital. In Filipino, we call it yung bantay, andon, no? So pwede mo isulat yung next to kin niya if that is available in the case notes. But if not, don't write it down. Guys, take a look at this one, okay? I have seen a lot, it bothers me to see a lot of internet formats on the OET which says that you need to write down the diagnosis here, okay? On the grading criteria of the occupational English test, your introductory paragraph matters. So you would need to write the diagnosis there, okay? Not here. Basically, if you're going to be writing it down here and then you're going to write it there again, then it would be repetitive, okay? It would be repetitive for your reader, okay? All right, so alrighty, so look at that, guys, okay? These are the things that you would need to, okay, these are the things that you would need to do for the regarding part right here. Okay, now, what is the next one? The next part is, of course, your greetings. Okay, your greetings to the person that's going to be reading your letter. Okay, so you can start with Dear Dr. Lacanilao. Okay, but if there is no addressee, let's say there's no name. There's no name. You're only given the job title of the person. Then just write down, Dear Doctor, comma, or Dear Nurse. Now, if you do not know if that is a doctor or a nurse that you're writing to, just start with Dear Sir or Madam. Okay, guys, be careful with the D's on doctor and nurse, okay? If there's no specific name, you should not be capitalizing it because that is not considered as a proper noun, okay? All right. So look at that. Now, what is the most important paragraph of your work? I always tell my students this. This is the most important paragraph. This is the introductory paragraph. Okay, Sir Joseph, why is the introductory paragraph important? Because here on this part, you must ensure that that the reader will get a clear view of your case. Okay, here, your reader must get a clear view of your case. Okay? When they look at your introductory paragraph, kailangan lahat ng kailangan nilang malaman tungkol sa pasyente mo, malalaman nila agad-agad. Okay? That is one thing. This is the introductory paragraph. Now, Sir Joseph, what are the things that you encourage your students to write down on the introductory paragraph? Okay. Of course, I will be writing down the chief complaint of the client. Oh, sorry. First, I would be writing down my purpose, okay? Why am I writing the letter? Okay, so write down your purpose. Basically here, why are you writing down the letter? Okay, and then after the purpose, you write down the chief complaint of the client or the CC. The chief complaint and if the diagnosis is available. Okay, and then after that, the length of rendered care. How long were you able to take care of the client? Okay, so the length of your rendered care. And of course, guys, you're going to be stating the direct needs of the client. Okay, direct needs of the client from your reader. Okay, so here, guys, you're going to be stating the direct needs of your clients from your reader. What do they need? Okay, what do they need from your reader in that matter? Okay, so look at that. These are the things that I always tell my students to write down on the introductory paragraph of their work. Okay, pretty much important when you are writing a letter on the occupational English test for you to give a clear view or a clear light on the OET. Okay, now what's next? Apart from the introductory paragraph, as I told you earlier, there is no specific arrangement of the details on the OET, okay, with the letter. But I always encourage my students to arrange the letter like this, okay? Look, this is the body paragraph 1, okay? So for the body 1, we call this the social, oh, sorry. We call this the history paragraph. Oh. Okay, this is the history paragraph. So what are the things that you're going to be writing down on the history paragraph of your client? Of course, guys, You would need to write down social history, the social history of your client, anything that is relevant, okay? Take note of the word relevant only. Social history that is relevant to the case. Okay, what else? You also have the medical history of the client. Okay, you may also include the family history of the client. If they have a family history of disease, then you should be writing it down here. Okay, look at that. Or of course, you may also include the past medications, past relevant medications. Okay, you may include the past relevant medications here. Okay, so look at that. These are the things that you can include on the history paragraph of your work. Okay, the history paragraph is just this short. Okay, very short, not long. Okay, don't give your reader long paragraphs. You must chunk your ideas all together. Now, what about the body two, Sir Joseph? What are the contents of the body two? Okay. So for the body two, guys, we call this the intervention paragraph. Okay, so what is there to know with the intervention paragraph? Okay, any type of medical intervention. Okay, take note of related. Okay, related medical intervention should be included in here. Okay, what else? Related surgical intervention. Okay, what else? Lab. Okay, any type of lab that was done for your client that is related to the case. There you go. And also the special endorsements. Special endorsements. What's happening there? Okay, hold on. Let me just adjust my pen, guys. Okay, so you're going to be writing down the special endorsements and equipments. Okay, any type of special endorsements and equipments should be included here on this part, body paragraph 2. Okay, now, Sir Joseph, what is body paragraph 3? Okay, so for the body paragraph 3, guys, the contents here, this is what we call the orders paragraph. Okay. Basically, on the orders paragraph, anything that would need to be carried out. For continuity of care should be endorsed here. Okay? Anything, whether that is an endorsement to a social worker, a specialist, there we go, dietitian, no? Lahat ng uri ng endorsement po, we're going to be writing them down here on this paragraph. Okay? So look at that. All right? So for the body paragraph 3, these are the orders paragraph, any type of order, special order. Okay? Yung mga yan, yung mga special order, yung may itlog o kaya may leche plan. Charing. Okay, should be included here on the body paragraph 3 of your work. So look at that. All right. Now, the next thing is what we call the closing statement. Okay, so as I always tell my students, guys, on the closing statement, this should be just short, okay? Very short of a statement, okay? Here's an example, okay? Okay, so look at that. I have included relevant information along with this letter. Should you require further assistance, please contact me. There you go. So you can memorize this, okay? If there is a contact number on the case notes, then you should be writing it down here too. Okay, so what will follow your closing statement right there, guys, okay? For the next one, you would now need to choose between yours sincerely and yours faithfully. Okay, let me show you the difference, okay? For some people, they do not know the difference between yours sincerely and yours faithfully. Okay, so you only use your sincerely if there is a name. Okay, if there is a name for the addressee. Okay, basically you have written down the name of the person that you are writing to on the top part of your letter. So you're going to be writing it, you're going to be using your sincerely. However, guys, if there is no name or unknown addressee, basically you started your letter with dear sir or madam. There you go. Or dear doctor or dear nurse. There you go. So basically, guys, here, you're going to be using yours faithfully. Ay! Kala ko, Sir Joseph, iisa lang yan. I thought it's just one, right? No. They're completely different. Yours sincerely is if you know if there is a name for the person that you're writing to, then basically that's yours sincerely. If there's no name, unknown, you started with dear sir or madam. There you go. So basically you're going to be using yours faithfully. Okay, so look at that. And then of course your full name. Oh, I think I may have misspelled her name wrong. Okay, Catriona M. Gray. There we go. And then your job title. This is your full name right here. And then, guys, your job title. Let's say you're a charge nurse. Now, on some, okay, on some case notes, you have an address, okay? You have an address on some, but this is pretty rare that the case note will give you the address of the hospital that you're working at. Okay, so basically, guys, if that happens, you can write down the address here. Okay, let's say I am writing from Beauty and Wellness Hospital. Mali pa spelling. Ano ba yan, Joseph? Now, not all times, guys, there would be an address here. Okay, you would need to look at your case notes because the case notes would contain information if you have an address here. Okay, so this is the structure of the letter that we follow. Okay, for the occupational English test. Now, before we move on to the writing, guys, okay, to the speaking, okay, which is the exciting part of our discussion for today, we're going to be teaching you about what do you call this? I'm going to be teaching you about the role play. Ma'am Zaya, any expectations for them when it comes to the speaking examination of the occupational English test?
Hi everyone. Hi mother. So yes, it is apparently like in the normal life when you are actually in the area. Expect kumbaga, toxic significant others. Now, yes, it is quite normal for you to find these them yelling, actually frantic, hesitant to get a certain treatment, or even those who have beliefs regarding blood transfusion and a lot. It is quite what you see in the area. So you have to think like you are in the emergency room, if you are like you are in the ward or in the community. So you have to think like a nurse, and also do not use medical jargons because even though that these people they already know this, they'll pretend that they don't because they will be in character. And sometimes you have to be as compassionate as you can because once again it is part of the criteria. And what I have seen so far in the cue cards, the most difficult patient, not really patients, but people to deal with will be those who are the significant others, be it the daughter, be it the mother of pedia patients. So it's best that, like in the area, you should explain everything. So do not let them be frantic, be all over the place. You have to manage the situation first, and then you have to explain as much as you can. Because from experience, it will actually alleviate the situation rather than aggravate it. Because the main root always of fear and anxiety is that the lack of information or misinformation. Now, there is a certain cue card there wherein a patient believes that if they get a blood transfusion, they will get bloodborne diseases like HIV, Hep B, and the lot. So the best way for you to actually stop that thinking is to explain the different processes, the rigorous scanning and screens that a certain blood donor would be involved in before they will actually be allowed to give or donate their blood. So again, make it as in lay terms as possible, and also try to be compassionate, and do not be scared or terrified if they suddenly yelled, because they will pretend like they're normal people, and normal people get frantic and anxious and terrified. So I think Mother Dragon is now ready. Let me give back the floor to Mother D.
Thank you so much, Zaya. Yeah, I mean, your interlocutors are going to be acting like normal people, okay? On the occupational English test, do not be afraid if your interlocutor yells, okay? Because normal people actually become agitated, right? Especially when we're talking about health. Okay, so as nurses, it is our task for us to ensure that we are what they call this, which we are going to be handling that. Okay, sabi ni Sir Jeff, kainis mag-English si Zaya. Bakit bagay sa kanya? Sa akin hindi. Oy, bagay naman sa'yo, Sir Jeff. Diba? Alam mo naman yung anak natin, diba? Zaya is one of our coaches here at Elite Intellect. She is always seen at the coaching room, no? Talaga naman, pag narinig siya ng mga estudyante, they said that she has a calming presence. Ako naman, I wreak havoc. I wreak havoc on the coaching room. Okay, so before we move on to the speaking, guys, let me just take this opportunity to promote our latest promos at Elite Intellect, okay? And of course, congratulate our latest passers here at Elite Intellect IELTS Specialist PH, okay? So of course, Genji, Ate Genji Jimenez 8.0 in speaking, Joanna Marie Tijamo 8.0 in speaking, Corinth, listening 9, reading 8, speaking is 7.5, writing is 7.5. Congratulations. Clarice as Edusara 7.5 in speaking. She's a nurse in Abu Dhabi. Okay. And we have Rainiel Eric Dumpit. Okay, 7.0 in speaking. He's a nurse in the Philippines. And of course, we also have Christine Kabilan, also known as Ilona Ramos. Okay, there we go. 7.0 in speaking. And she is a nurse in the Philippines. So congratulations, guys. Okay, I think also Edeline. Edeline passed her examinations. Just messaged me. She got a 7.5 in speaking. Wait nga lang, basahin ko nga. Edeline. Okay. So Adeline's score is 7.5 in speaking. Okay, and I think naka 7.5 tong bata na to sa reading eh. Okay. All right. So Adeline there is 7.5 in speaking, listening is 8.5, reading is 8.5, writing is 6.5, overall 8.0. Good job, Adeline. So congratulations, my children, for passing your examination. And of course, guys, okay, so are you tired of a review full of uncertainty? Then, of course, guys, and if your review has no quality guarantee, then, of course, now you can be sure that the review has quality over quantity. We are now accepting 10 students for this batch for the IELTS review of Elite SurePass. Okay, so what is Elite SurePass? It is lifetime validity, unlimited review, free handouts and preparation books, unlimited one-on-one coaching in speaking and writing, flexible and convenient schedule for both domestic and international students, live and recorded discussion, which you can access anytime, 24/7 coach approach and mentor support. Okay, computer and mobile delivered mock tests, the first in the Philippines, video call mock speaking and writing assessment. Now you don't have to choose because this SurePass program also has our OET review. So it is IELTS plus OET combined into one. So yes, guys, instead of paying 8,000 for your OET and 6,500 for your IELTS review, only pay 4,999 for our Elite SurePass. So if you want to enroll for our IELTS plus OET review, please send a message to the Facebook page of Elite Intellect 9, which can be seen on the chat box right there of our Zoom meeting, and of course also on YouTube. Okay, so Ma'am Zaya, could you please send the link of Elite Intellect to the YouTube live? Thank you. Okay, and of course, guys, we are still accepting students for our buy one take two course for the NCLEX, which is NCLEX plus IELTS full review plus OET full review. Okay, so what are the things to expect when it comes to this one? So prepare early for your NCLEX and get a free IELTS full course review and OET full course review. It depends on which one would you want to attend. So that is buy one take two courses. Instead of paying 25,000, you're only going to be paying 7,999. That is all for 3 review. Okay, exclusive for IFNG members only. So for you to avail of this, please type IFNG and then send it to our Facebook page right there. Okay, so see you in class very soon, my children. Alrighty. Okay. Bagay din sa inyo, sir. Maliit ako, kaso plus points. Plus points daw sa Zaya. Okay, sir, after introductory paragraph, is it okay if immediately stated the current condition, intervention, progress of the patient before the social background? No. Okay, because that is one thing that they do to confuse the readers of the occupational English test, is they're going to really place the social background on the end part. As a test taker, Dana, it's your task for you to arrange the details so that your examiner can understand everything. So paragraph 1 is always for our social history, any type of history paragraph, any type of history information that should be there. Medical intervention should always be on the second part. Okay, there we go. All right, guys, so let's move on to the speaking of role play of the occupational English test. All right, let me resume my share right here. Okay. So how do you do that? I'm sorry, I'm technologically challenged. Okay, guys, so let's now look at the flow. Okay, let's now look at the flow of the OET speaking. Okay, So basically, guys, when we say the flow, there is a specific flow. You're welcome, Dana. Okay, there is a specific flow that we follow. Well, I don't know if you're going to be agreeing with me, but this is the flow that we follow here at Elite Intellect 9 for our students, for them to be able to, what do you call this, to give a commendable outcome on their role play. Okay. Again, guys, what you would need to remember here is the task for this one is a role play. Okay. It's a role play with which you're going to assume the role of a nurse. And of course, you will be given 3 minutes to prepare. Okay. And then after the 3 minutes preparation time, you will be given 5 minutes for each role play. Okay, so like any good work, guys, what I would want you to remember is, like any structured work, there should be an introduction, body, and conclusion. Okay, I don't know. We just like to think of it that way here. Okay, so I always tell my students for them to have an introduction. Okay, so what is there for the introduction? For the introduction of your OET role play, guys, you would need to introduce yourself. Okay, and then after introducing yourself, the next thing to do is for you to state your profession. After stating your profession, the next thing that you could do is for you to state your purpose. Okay, why are you there? Okay, why are you there? Why are you there talking to the client or the relative of the client right there? Okay. Sir, do you have CBT? Yes, Audiver, we do have the NMC CBT plus IELTS. Your NCLEX could be replaced by the NMC CBT review. Okay, so you may inquire on our Facebook page right there. Sir, ilang graded and coaching mock test if we enrolled at Elite SurePass? Mark Ray, actually, we encourage our students to maximize the review. So when we say maximize, is that you can actually take as much as coaching as you can, because there are coaches here that could be there for you to coach you during your most convenient time. No, some students, they actually take 30 coaching sessions before they take the exam, 40 coaching sessions before they take the exam, and it's totally fine. It's totally fine with Elite Intellect because our coaching sessions are unlimited. Okay, so you may send a message on our Facebook page right there. Sir Jello is going to be sending you guys the link there on our chat box here at Zoom so that you can inquire for our NMC CBD course plus IELTS plus OET, and of course for Mark Ray, the Elite SurePass. Thank you, guys. I'll see you in class very soon. Okay, so you would need to state your purpose right there. Okay, why are you there? Why are you talking to that person right there? Okay, and of course, after that, guys, what I always tell my students is for you to, if you are observing that the client is uneasy, then of course you're going to state your observation. And then after stating your observation, the next thing to do is for you to offer yourself. Guys, please remember not to sound monotonous on this part. Basically, you're setting the first impression to the person that you're talking to. So let's listen to this one, okay? Hello, good afternoon. My name is Joseph, and I'm one of the nurses here at this hospital, and I am in charge of your care today. But before that, could you please tell me your name? Oh, hello, Mary. Actually, I am here because the doctor has told me to instruct you further about taking your medications. But you seem uneasy about it. Do you want to talk about it? I'm not yet going to do anything. Okay, look at that, right? Again, hello. My name is Joseph, and I'm one of the nurses here at this hospital, and I am in charge of your care today. But before anything else, could you please tell me your name? Hello, Mary. The doctor has sent me here today to instruct you further on how to take your medications. However, I have noticed that you're a little bit worried. Do you want to talk about it? I'm not going to do anything. Okay, so look at that. a very strong, compassionate introduction right there, right? Very much complete for you to state that. Ay, gusto ko yung may pag-ibig smile kay Atching Mary, di ba? May pagngiti ka kay Atching Mary, di ba? So if you're going to be looking at that, guys, when you're introducing yourself, please do not sound monotonous, okay? Do not say, hello, my name is Joseph and I'm one of the nurses here at this hospital. I'm in charge of your care today. But before that, could you please tell me your name? Oh, hello, Mary. The doctor has sent me here to instruct you further about your medication. But before that, you seem worried. Do you want to talk about it? Oh my gosh, nobody speaks like that on the natural environment, right? When we are talking with our patients, right? Hello, how are you today? Doing well? Okay, that's good to hear. So you speak like that when you're on the introductory part, okay? Do not sound robotic, do not sound monotonous. You introduce yourself, you give your purpose, okay, state your profession, state your purpose, and then state your observation, and then offer yourself for your client, okay? That is an effective way for you to make an introduction on the occupational English test speaking, okay? Now, as I told you earlier, like any good work, a good work should have introduction, bodies, and of course, a conclusion. So what should you be doing for the bodies of your work? Okay. So for the bodies, guys, what I would want you to remember here is to move from one bullet point to the other. Later on, I'll show you an example card. Okay? Move from one bullet point to the other. Okay, so you would need to move on from one bullet point to the other. And apart from that, guys, what I would want you to remember here is to always lead the conversation. Okay, it should be you who is leading the conversation, not the other way around. It should not be your patient telling you, can we talk about my medicine? No, that's not your patient. That should be doing that. It should be you. Okay, let's talk about your medicine. So the first thing that you would need to do here is for you to know how often would you need to take the medication. There you go. Okay. Ano daw yun? Bigla akong natakot nung nakita ko yung offer yourself. Hi! Gusto ko ino-offer myself. Okay, so for the bodies, guys, remember that you should be the one leading the conversation. Okay, let me insert a sample card here. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Gaugel, for this card. Okay, so let's have a look-see at this card, okay? This is the example of the card that you will be using on the occupational English test. Now, you have to remember there are two cards that are utilized, okay? The first one is what we call the examiner card, and then the next one is your card, okay? So let's have a look-see at the examiner card. Okay, look at the card here. Okay, this is the examiner card. Basically, guys, look at that. The setting is on the emergency department, and she is an 18-year-old female with undiagnosed anorexia nervosa. Now, if you're going to be looking at this, look at that. They have tasks to do. Okay? Your interlocutors have tasks to do, like ask the nurse about why you have a drip running and express fear that it might harm you in some way. Okay, when the nurse tries to make conversation with you about your eating habits, initially answer some of these, but fairly quickly become defensive and angrily ask what is their business about your personal habits. Look at that, right? They have a script that they follow so as to ensure that you're not lost with the conversation. When the nurse tells you, a psychiatric doctor will come to see you, become angry again, protesting that these doctors are for the crazy people and that there's nothing wrong with your mind. Calm down only when the nurse persuades you that your eating behavior is now causing very serious problems. Look at that. So that's the task of your interlocutor. That is the thing that they would need to do on that day, is for them to do this and say this and tell you this. Okay? All right. Okay, so hold on, guys. Let me just check this one. Oh, no wonder why my what do you call this? My YouTube streaming is late. I was on the late side of the video. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at your task as a nurse. Okay, what's your task as a nurse? Okay, so the setting, guys, as a nurse is it is an emergency department. Okay, an 18-year-old female with undiagnosed anorexia nervosa has presented to your emergency department with an abnormal heart rhythm caused by her poor nutrition. Okay, so she has an abnormal heart rhythm. Yeah, usually when you have problems with your weight, your heart rhythm has problems too. Okay. Um, Cardiac treatment has stabilized her heart, but she is still currently receiving potassium infusion via drip to prevent further such problems. Other than that, when she wants you to explain treatment to her, she is defensive, and angry to communicate with and in denial that she has any kind of eating disorders or mental health issues. Reassuringly answer her anxious questions about the intravenous drip being given to stabilize her condition. Okay, what else, guys? Tactfully, okay, your task. Let's highlight your tasks here. Okay. Tactfully answer her about her eating habits, food intake, emphasizing her therapeutic aims. Advise her that a mental health doctor will come see her. And when she becomes angry about having to see a doctor for crazy people, try to persuade her the importance of dealing with her mental health and eating issues to prevent such life-threatening hospital admissions. So look at this. These are your tasks. The 3 bullet points that you see here. Okay, these 3 you would need to carry out at the body of your work. Okay, so you can actually ask her things right here. Okay, so here, ask the nurse about why you have a drip running and express the fear that it might harm you in some way. Okay, so the patient might say here, well, I'm very much anxious about this one. Why do I have a drip? I mean, what is this? I'm afraid of its side effects in my body. I mean, this is a medication. Medications have negative impact in the bodies of people. Okay, and then you should be, I do understand where you are coming from. However, that IV infusion drip is basically there to replace the fluids that you may have lost because of your condition. Oh, diba? Okay, now, may I please ask you, if you would, may I please ask you about your eating habits? Okay, how do you eat in a day? Okay, what are the things that you eat in a day? I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so let's take it serious. Let's take it simply, okay? For breakfast yesterday, what did you eat? I had coffee. Okay, what about for lunch yesterday? What did you have? Coffee. Okay, for dinner, what did you have? Well, I'm feeling full from the coffee of the afternoon. So, yeah, I did not eat anything or drink anything. Okay, I do understand. Now, my main goal here is just to ask you questions so as to have for me to have a clear view about your condition. Basically, that is the purpose of this one. Well, anyways, a mental health doctor will come and see you later on this afternoon. What? Why is there a mental health doctor involved? I'm not a crazy person. Why would you refer me to a why? Why? Why would you refer me to a crazy doctor? She's just something, something. There you go. Right? I do understand that it's a little bit agitating for you to hear this concept of having to deal with a mental health doctor. However, our goal here is not because you're crazy, but we have to grasp the terms that accept the fact that you might have an eating disorder. Disorders are usually coming from the mental health of the patients. And if you do not eat or if you do not have rather good relationship with food, then it might affect your body. It might affect your body deleteriously. But like what is happening right now? You were rushed here because of an abnormal heart rhythm. And that is caused by poor nutrition. When you have low fluids, low electrolytes in the body, like low potassium, low sodium, then of course we're going to be having abnormal heart rhythms. Diba? So when you are actually giving them information like that, you should be the one who is in charge of the things, okay? It's not your patient who is directing you how and when to talk, okay? That's one thing that marks good OET students is that they lead the conversation, okay? So remember, for the bodies of your work, always lead the conversation. All right, now, last one, guys, is of course, as I told you, like any other good work, there should be a conclusion, okay? So, what should be stated on the conclusion? The conclusion of your conversation is pretty simple, okay? Basically, what you're going to be doing here is to generalize, okay? When we say generalize, guys, you're going to quickly tap on the things you talked about. Okay, you're going to quickly tap on the things that you talked about, okay? Not long, because you're basically here, what you're doing is you're already closing the statements here. So just quickly tap on the things that you talked about. And then after that, guys, is you're going to be reoffering yourself, okay? I want you to reoffer yourself. All right, so how do we do this? Okay, let's go back to our case card here. All right. Okay, so I believe that I have already answered the things that I would need for you to know about the intravenous drip that is actually running at the moment. And of course, I gathered some information about your eating habits and your schedule with our mental health professional later on to help you further with the terms of groping to the terms of you may have eating disorders. Again, my name is Joseph. Here is the call bell. I will be at the nurse's station. If you need me, just press it and I'll be over. Diba? Again, here's the call bell. I will be at the nurse's station. Just press it and I'll be over. Okay, so that is if you're in a ward, okay? Or if you are in an emergency department like her, then you should be saying, okay, so I do need to attend to other patients, but I will be around. So if you need me, just call me and I'll be over. There you go. Or if you are in a clinic, okay, let's say that's a consultation, okay? All right, so I do understand that we have already instructed you about your medication and your next follow-up. So here is a pamphlet. Here is a pamphlet with all the information that you would need for your condition. I'll see you on your next checkup. Have a great day. Okay, so look at that, right? One of the problems that students tend to face on the OET speaking, guys, is they're not good with acting. Okay? You should be good with acting on this one because that's the main task right there is for you to act. Okay, or assume the role of a compassionate nurse. All right, so that is the writing and the speaking flow of the occupational English test. All right, now before we move on to the Q&A, guys, any questions? Before we move on to the Q&A, let's go to the most important message this evening, okay? For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. Every time that you are afraid of things that are about to happen in your life, if there are uncertainties, you have to remember the Lord did not give you the spirit of fear. Okay, the Lord gave you power and love and self-control. That is from 2 Timothy verse 1 to 7. Okay, guys, so let's proceed to the Q&A. Oh, guys, by the way, IELTS plus OET. Okay, IELTS plus OET is 4,999 for unlimited review. NCLEX plus IELTS plus OET unlimited review is 7,999 only. If you want to enroll for our programs, limited slots only. Sorry, guys, exclusive for IFNG members. Okay, if you want to enroll for our programs, please send a message on our Facebook page. If you're going to be looking at our chat box right there, that is the Facebook page of Elite Intellect 9 right there. And of course, at our YouTube channel, okay, that is our Facebook page right there. All right, guys, any questions for tonight for the occupational English test writing and speaking flow? Sir, will we get a copy of our handout for today? Yes, you're going to be getting a copy of this one. I will be sending it to the admins immediately after this discussion so that they may send you the copy of this one. Okay? All right, guys, questions? Lang tanong. Dalawang bagay lang pag walang tanong ang estudyante, ah. Naintindihan o di naintindihan? Okay, questions, guys? Okay, for those of you on the YouTube platform, don't be shy. Don't be shy, guys. Okay, guys. All right, then. So if we don't have any more questions, it's for those of you who are about to become elite students, let's just pray for you guys, okay? Let's pray for you quickly, okay? Heavenly Father, we'd like to thank you for another opportunity for us to elicit further when it comes to the knowledge of the students at IFNG. Lord, bless the admins of IFNG for them to keep on helping the students when it comes to their needs and also the institutions. Father, we are praying for the goals of the students, for them to go to your plan and for them to be where they are because you have guided them. Lord, I bless the students that are learning at IFNG. I bless the admins and I bless the new students of Elite Intellect and they're about to come in. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, guys. So I think we don't have any more questions right here. None, kasi nga well explained. Truly, Bells, thank you guys so much. Okay, then, so I'm now going to be returning the floor to Mom Gladys. Okay, so next week we're still at OET, listening or reading, guys. I will be updating you guys. Okay, so in behalf of Sir Jello, Mom Tanya, and Mom Zaya, this is your Mama Dragon sending my love to you from the Philippines. I'll see you next Friday, guys.
Thank you, Mother Dragon. Sir Jeff.
Okay, yes, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Mother D. And yeah, next week we will go back to our Facebook Live.
Okay, Sir
Yeah.
Jeff, right. Next week we will be on the reading of the OET.
Yes. We will be back to our regular platform, which is Facebook. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending. For those of you who are in the YouTube channel, so please like and subscribe so that we can finance our Zoom. Okay.
And also please share this video to your friends. Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much and